Hi, this is Farzeen and welcome to India Today, and I have with me the cast of Berlin. So before I saw the film, I was very curious about what Berlin actually means in terms of the context of the film. Tell me, when you guys heard it, what were the kind of ideas that you had in your mind?
हाँ थोड़ा ये intriguing था जब पता चला कि Berlin है film का नाम and when you start to read it and then Berlin comes in a very different when you get to know what why is it called Berlin. I think it's quite different and quite unique way of naming the film.
I was bitterly disappointed.
Because you thought it was an international shoot?
We were shooting in Berlin.
Oh God! You're not so naive, Rahul Bose.
I thought we'll be shooting in Berlin. I thought it's a Hollywood film. And I thought we'll be premiering at the Berlin Film Festival. I was wrong on all three counts. I've already written a complaint to the Producers Guild that I was fooled and made a fool of and given promises that have not been fulfilled. So we'll see Atul in jail very soon.
Amazing. But I've always been curious, like after doing such great roles, like Rahul, what is your criteria when a script comes to you? Like what makes you sign a project?
Fame.
Okay.
Money.
But you have that.
Power. Wealth. World domination.
So one day, one actor asked the director, both of them extremely famous.
Okay.
ये scene ना मुझे समझ नहीं आ रहा है. What is my motivation? And director says, money.
I want this.
What is my motivation behind this scene? Or he says money.
It's the same as it was when I started.
Yeah.
Which is not money for him, of course.
Yeah. Which is, do I like the story? Would I like to watch this movie? What is my character? And if you took my character out of this story, would the story be the same, or would it like even Dil Dhadakne Do? Without Manav,
of course,
there is no conflict there, and Priyanka is the central fulcrum of this, keeping this whole thing together.
Yeah.
So if you take that out, it begins to collapse like a house of cards. So for me, that is important. The co-actors, supremely important.
Yeah.
Supremely important. I might even compromise on the story if I know that the actors are really good. I might. I probably won't, but I might. If there's anything, I might compromise on that if the co-actors are so amazing. And of course, my role. Does my role excite me, not just in terms of its importance to the script, but if I've had Chinese food for 4 days, I'm now in the mood to have, if I've done 4 comedies, I want to do something serious.
Yeah.
Has it come at the right time? It could be an incredible comedy, but it's like number 5, I'm like, no. You know?
Yeah.
So, but is it like, I've done this before kind of thing. So I think that those parameters, but the one parameter that has been added in the last 15 years is the fact that I insist now on working with good human beings. It's not, my heart can't take that load anymore of working with people who are not great human beings and just sucking it up for some future gratification, award or I don't know, a critical acclaim or, no, it's just not worth it. I set out to do what I love and I'm not going to compromise on it.
Now, because you mentioned Dil Dhadakne Do, I was about to ask you this later, but tell me, when a misogynist character like that gets so popularity on social media, like there are reels even now today, how do you feel about it, that this is the character that's getting so much popularity?
I feel like killing myself.
Such an honest confession, Bose.
I mean, if they had memes of Mr. and Mrs. Iyer, I'd be very happy.
Yeah.
But they have this one.
Nice guy finishes last.
What to do?
Yeah.
But what कितनी कमाल की एक छवि है उस मानव की.
And that one dialogue
जो इतनी विपरीत है राहुल बोस के. It's amazing that how he has pulled that.
And I kept telling Zoya, if I put on my NGO hat, I will faint. The words I'm saying, I will just faint. Behosh. I won't be able to get up.
And that too, if I can give you a little extra info, because now I know him from the past 2 years. He comes from a house where father cooked, not the mother.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Baba made all the food. So when I used to go to my friends' houses and their mothers used to be in the kitchen, I would turn to them and say, is your dad unwell? Like, no. It's like, why is he sitting there reading the newspaper? The mother's in the kitchen. It's like, yeah, my mom cooks. I'm like, oh, sorry. I didn't realize. I honestly didn't know. Because my mother never entered the kitchen. She smoked, she drank, she partied, she wrote some scripts, she voiced for radio and television.
Amazing.
And that was it.
And Ishwak bro, isn't it amazing that how I mean, वो पहले झूठ बोल रहे थे कि 2 साल छोटे हैं. Whatever his age is, उस टाइम के हिसाब से इतनी evolved family से आना.
But I think with so sorry.
इतनी evolved family से आना कि यार the husband, that's okay to husband for the husband to enter the kitchen.
And it's
जो अभी
okay
तक
for the
नहीं
wife
है.
to not enter the kitchen at
At
all.
all.
Never.
Yeah.
Aren't the women really, in a way, calling the shots in Bengali households?
She's not
Because-
Bengali.
Oh.
My mother was
Punjabi,
half
half Punjabi,
Maratha, half Punjabi.
Yeah.
Wow.
Can you imagine if I was fully Bengali?
But Rahul, how do you deal with this internal conflict when you're playing a character like that?
It has to serve the story. You have to be interested in doing it. And yes, you do have to fall in love with the idea of playing the character.
Yeah.
Not with the character. You have to fall in love with the idea. I can really, like Bulbul. Does anybody want to be a?
course.
Does anybody want to be a? Somebody who is mentally challenged and then rapes a woman to death.
Absolutely.
To death. Can you imagine? Who's already broken? Who wants to say? Who wants to? But the chance to play that character. That is the attraction.
Yeah.
And I remember in Bulbul, I was Tripti and I were on that bed for about 8 hours the whole day because getting off, going, it's very
Absolutely.
messy because she was so it's better to just stay there. And we just sat and hung out and giggled and chatted through the whole 8 hours. And I told her, I said, look, when the shot starts, you're not going to recognize me. If you do, then I'm acting badly. It's going to be very scary. So just remember, the safe word is Rahul. Just say Rahul and everything will come back to this. It'll take 1 second. She said, don't worry. And for those 8 hours, we were shifting in and out of, it's massively triggering for a woman.
Absolutely.
Even you don't have to go through molestation, assault, abuse and rape to not be afraid of it, to not dread it. Very, very tough moment. And every single time, I had to convince myself that this is amazing.
Yeah.
That it's like I can't wait to do this again and again and again and again. And at some point you have to ask yourself, poof, it was very tough. That day was very tough.
Yeah. Ishwak, of course, I remember watching the film and then texting you about your performance. Tell me, you have no
I
dialogue.
didn't get your text once.
Because I was expecting you to meet there. Also, I don't have your number. I met Apar, of course, that day. You left.
और उन्होंने 1 मिनट मैं बता दूं आपको, सुनो, उन्होंने मुझे मुंह पे तारीफ कर दी थी, यहाँ पे मैसेज कर दिया था, आपको नहीं बोला.
Because Rahul ditched us, because I saw him at
She
the
wanted to
theater.
save it for the
No,
right moment.
I saw him at the theater, but when we came out, you were not there. So you ditched us.
और अभी भी नहीं बोल रही है that you
No
were
नहीं,
good.
अब मैं-
SMS for you.
अभी भी नहीं
No
बोल रही
compliments for
है.
you.
अभी भी नहीं बोल रही है that
1
you
year
were good in the
later,
film.
10 years later, 20 years later, you don't sit outside
Yeah.
while I'm watching the film inside. Like a beggar, you don't sit outside waiting for me to come out so that you can put your hands out like this.
Is it-
You'll not get it.
That's true. Anyway, but
Yes.
now, yeah.
But Ishwak, tell me about your challenges of playing this character. It was, I'm sure as an actor, it was a delight. But tell me, when you were on set doing the part of Ashok, like what was?
The first time in
Yeah.
my life, I actually was thrown off, scared. I was like, "Yari, kaise hoga?" So different from anything I've ever read.
Yeah.
Forget about what I've done. It's so different,
Yeah.
unheard of. Like the most marginalized person you can think of in the society.
When will you get it again? Imagine in your career. No, I mean,
Like, that's why I consider this. I mean, that's another thing. I think it's like once in a lifetime kind of an opportunity. But you know what happens is that, I mean, that is where I guess the director becomes like this nurturing sort of a parent, a nourishing parent who really looks out for you, and you sort of keep going back to that person for guidance,
Yeah.
approval, mentorship. And I think Atul was great, very patient, and kept encouraging me to sort of find this guy, find a process, because it's not something that it's not about, you got to, I've lost my biggest tool, which is my voice. Now what I've got to do is develop my new, talents, new mic claws. Like I'm rebuilding myself,
Yeah.
which is the sign language. And the thing which, he said is that, just don't worry about the script. Like you'll get there. You'll get the crisis of the community. Like I know you'll get into it.
Yeah.
He's like, right now, just be very good with sign language. So I mean, And I had time. I learned the sign language and I now became fluent with it. क्योंकि मुझे ये सेंस आ गई थी यार अगर ये चीज़ मैंने कर ली ना बाकी चीज़ें it will come. And I was also sort of working on that too. You know, we started workshopping. I kept reading it as I was shooting. This is the time when things had just opened up. You know, we all were like shooting multiple things back to back. So it became organic. But the first thing was the right decision was to kind of get the sign language.
Yeah.
You know, make it a part of. Be very fluent with it.
Absolutely. Apart, you tell me, of course, with Jubilee, you broke that image that people had about you just acing comedy. Tell me when this came to you, what was your feeling like? Because as he, of course, has sign language as a strength, you had both. You had your voice also and this sign language
yeah,
to also
first
come
of
out.
all, I think even if I compare it to, you know, yes, there is a paradigm shift from comedy to serious parts. But Berlin becomes even more special because this is a very different way of storytelling, using sign language as a tool to move the story forward. Secondly, Jubilee, which was also written by Atul Sabharwal, that had, in a way, in my head, broken the, at least for me as an artist, कि comedy से seriousness में आ गए. But ये उसका एक और further paradigm shift है. Because this is something extremely different, as he said, कि यार पढ़ा ही नहीं होगा ऐसा कुछ. And maybe what Rahul also means कि दोबारा कभी मिलेगा कि नहीं मिलेगा, because दोबारा ऐसी चीजें लिखी भी जाएंगी कभी कि नहीं. He's not doubting our capability.
Yeah, of course.
Point, you know, and touch wood, all three of us really like each other's craft and dedication and you know. So ये ऐसा दोबारा लिखा जाना ही मुश्किल है. And I think kudos to Atul Sabharwal, the writer and the director. It's not something. ये कोई रियल लाइफ स्टोरी नहीं है. इसकी एक एक बीट फिक्शनली सोची गई है. इस वर्ल्ड को ऐसे सोचना और ऐसे लिखना इम्पॉसिबल है. बड़ा मुश्किल है. So and such a pure world. And if I can say this without sounding too much, and it's only not only because we have now traveled the entire globe to all the, you know, prestigious film festivals and got all the love and appreciation. Without going there, हम पहले ही एक दूसरे को यही कहते थे that we have made a film that we are extremely proud of. I think all of us have given our 100%. I think all of us were on the same page. I think हर एक की intention clear थी to make a good film. So I think that's it. Yeah, I mean now it's on to, you know, the audiences, how much love and you know how much blessings can they give us. But we have put our best foot forward.
And of course, everyone right now is talking about the PR game. Everyone is talking about the PR game. So who's taking credit for Berlin?
PR game.
I think the audience.
Who's
They
taking
made the film.
Meaning, what is the PR game?
So it's about every fan club basically fighting, actors fan club fighting, that their actor has the more powerful part.
Okay.
But my question, of course.
One second.
Yeah.
ओ मेरे फैन क्लब को फोन करो. क्या? नहीं एक फैन क्लब तो होगा कहीं पे. देखो किसी गांव में तो find a fan club. Sorry.
Yes. But I want.
सर आपके बगल में बैठे हैं आपके दोनों फैन. कौन सा क्लब सर?
Yes, but in real.
I have won the PR game.
Truly.
Look.
But in reference
The
to
way I
that,
sweet-talk them and charm
Rahul,
them.
of course, when you started out, there was no PR manager. That aspect of an actor's life wasn't there.
There still isn't in my life.
Yes, that is what I wanted to ask you. How do you navigate it right now, even without? I think Ishwak also and Apar also. I think all three of you do not have like this crazy PR game. But does it get
you
like?
have your PR person, you told me.
See,
You also have your PR person. You
But
told
does
me.
it get really
agency
tough because
beyond a
there's
point.
so much of PR happening?
question is, how do you deal with
How
it?
do you deal with it, and how do you navigate without a PR for you, Rahul?
Tears, sadness,
What did you eat
Sorrow.
for lunch?
regret. Yeah. I curse myself. I break my forehead on this glass thinking that why don't I have a PR? Why can't I airport look, gym look, restaurant, coming out of restaurant at night look, charming beggars on the street as you go out.
oh wow.
Those things I just don't have. Tears.
Okay.
That's why I say I love his sarcastic
Yeah,
sense
that's
of humor.
true.
It's amazing.
But tell me,
a
apart
casting
Ishwak, yeah,
straight
young
face,
actors like you, like how important has it become to have that push?
Yeah.
What push?
I wouldn't call it a push
yeah.
or won't call it important beyond a point. But having said that,
But does that like
ये क्या होता नहीं यार ये ना हमेशा ये एक बदलाव ना प्रकृति का नियम होता है और कुछ नहीं है. It's just a change.
Yeah.
तो वो चेंज कुछ कभी चीज अभी अभी आप OTT की बात कर रहे थे. अब ऐसे how important it is to watch film on OTT or do films on OTT, ये एक चेंज आया है पूरी इंडस्ट्री में और उस पे और 5 साल बाद कुछ और चेंज हो जाएगा. It's just a change, that's it.
Yeah.
Nothing else, am I right?
Sometimes I think, sorry, Ishwak, are you going to say something?
नहीं आप बोलिए sir, please.
Sometimes I feel that disappearing is very good PR.
Yeah.
That's not why I do it. I've been doing it for years. That's not what. But strategically, if I was to look at it, I'm like, hey, I haven't seen this person in a while.
Yeah.
What's she up to? Wow, okay, this is interesting.
True.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it could be that also. And sometimes it's also nice just to be around, to occasionally be seen that this person is alive and kicking.
Yeah.
And I wonder what he's doing next. In that respect.
मैं आपको जनरली बता देता हूँ so that you have a better this thing of ये सवाल आया क्यों है. मैंने एक ऐसी कोई बात बोल दी थी गलती से जो मिसइंटरप्रेट हो गई on the कि who should take the credit of Stree 2.
But why did this question even appear?
No, that is happening on social media.
So,
that is why he was asked.
इस वजह से
yes.
है कि फिर किसी ने बोला कि किसकी फिल्म है किसकी नहीं है क्या किसको क्रेडिट मिलना चाहिए.
Let us officially tell you, the film is Atul Sabharwal's.
And Rahul, you very beautifully spoke about your time, of course, on Bulbul set. I wanted to ask all three of you, because this is a panel with just men around. Right now, everyone is talking about safety of women, be it in the industry or society as a whole. What are your endeavors or efforts to make women around you feel safe, especially on workplace, because that's what everyone's talking about right now?
Good question. So I've been working on gender for 23 years. I've spoken on gender across the world, and I myself have two organizations. One is called the Foundation, which works on equalizing development through opportunity to people from disadvantaged areas of India, and the other is child sexual abuse. I'm also the president of the Rugby Federation of India. And just as an example, in the federation, we have a posh policy.
Yeah.
We have an IC, an internal committee. We have an external member. And every single coach, member of the support staff, everybody who interacts with our athletes has been told, these are the things, the norms that you have to follow. And I myself, in front of boys and girls, I don't discriminate. The safety of our under 18 teams, the safety of men and women in our teams is paramount.
Yeah.
So there is an absolute zero tolerance policy, to the point at which our coaches are not allowed to touch the athletes.
Wow.
वाह
On the field. You want to show something, get another player to show something. It's no problem.
वाह क्या बात है.
Our staff has been told you will never have a direct conversation with an athlete unless there's somebody else around. And if there is something on WhatsApp as a direct conversation, you will say, please message me on the group. There's a group.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Wonderful.
So there's it's a zero tolerance policy.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
But let me also say this. Women don't want to be protected. Women don't want to be sheltered. Women want a society where they are given the same freedoms that men have to choose whether they want to be a dancer in a bar or a NASA scientist.
Yeah.
It's up to them. The freedom of choice, the possibility of giving them that freedom is what I will work towards.
क्या बात.
But in terms of the industry, Rahul, do you want to mention anything?
The misogyny,
Yeah.
which industry doesn't have it? The industry of journalists, the industry of people in the finance sector, the industry of people in the IT sector,
Or
the
lawyers
people of
or-
industry,
yeah.
where is it not prevalent?
Yeah.
It cannot just be a freak case. It is everywhere. Misogyny, discrimination, and violence against women has been there, sadly, and I can reel off all the statistics of dowry deaths and rapes, etc. to you, but I won't. Outside all of that, the basic misogyny and the threat that men feel
Yeah.
against basically it's about power, to hold power and to have it taken out of your hands. That entire idea is prevalent in every single part of our society. It'll only begin to recede.
Yeah.
People say teach your children better. Yes, you can't teach your children better. You have to show your children better. If you walk 3 steps ahead of your wife as you go into the platform to catch the Howrah mail, your son will walk 3 steps ahead of his wife 10 years from now. You cannot
Beautiful.
tell kids. You have to show them with your
Yeah.
behavior. And you'll be amazed if you examine your own behavior, what biases we hold against women.
Yeah.
It's I have seen it myself when I'm looking at myself, like, oh my God, did I just say that? Did I just do that? So it's only ruthless self-examination where then the kids will say, I never saw that. My dad in the kitchen.
Yeah.
You know, what a way to he didn't ever tell me, look, I'm doing this, how sensitive I am towards women, don't let your wife work. Not that. He just did it.
Yeah.
He just did it. And in that, and he was a very loving, nurturing, tactile father. In that, we realized, my God, we didn't even realize. Now I realize at that time it was completely okay for a man to hold you in his arms and kiss you 100 times every evening, and play with you on the bed and play different games and things. And my mom hated it.
Yeah.
Badan mein na chipko, she would say.
Oh,
You know,
sweet.
She was that kind of person. But so then, when the hard decisions came,
Yeah.
should I do science or commerce? We went to our mom. And the soft decisions, what should I wear for this wedding? I didn't say, you get my point?
Yes.
At this point, what should I wear for so-and-so's wedding? You go to your mom. And what do I do with my future? You go to your
Your
dad.
dad.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Amazing.
What makes your mother less capable of telling you what future is better for you? And what makes your father less capable of telling you what looks good on you at a wedding? So these gendered stereotypes, we don't mean to offend our parents, but
Yeah.
we do it. Where did we get it from? So there's all of that. It's a very, very multi-layered. That's why I just keep quiet
Also, yaar, Sana, jo bhi
when
also
topics
kya
like
hai?
this arise. I just have to, because there's too much to say and it can't be done in 10 seconds.
And beyond a point, it's disturbing to see the current, whether in the country or otherwise also worldwide. It's not industry specific. It's not state or
Yeah,
or
no, just the
city
Hema Committee
specific.
report has come, so the conversation has
Absolutely.
started about the industry.
And also I think the more disturbing part, which makes a total recipe for disaster, is that जो भी राहुल सर ने कहा है, ये मुश्किल से 2% जनता को समझ में आने वाला है. पहली बात तो हम जिस लैंग्वेज में डिस्कशन कर रहे हैं, वही 4% लोगों के पास समझ में आता है.
बिल्कुल.
और जो सर जो थॉट कह रहे हैं, that's the worrisome part.
Yeah.
कि ये बात कब पहुंचेगी हिंदुस्तान के नुक्कड़ को.
मुझे ये बताएं, जो भी रिपोर्ट निकल रहा है, एक इंडस्ट्री के बारे में निकल रहा है, किसी और इंडस्ट्री ने कहा कि यार हमारे में ऐसा रिपोर्ट क्यों नहीं निकलता? सिर्फ चर्चा हो रहा है कि उस रिपोर्ट के बारे में. Why don't you look inside? This is a great opportunity for us as bankers, for us as lawyers, for us as chartered accountants to do the same thing, to have a committee that does an audit
Yeah.
of
Yeah, but then
behavior.
Rahul, also because the point is that the first reaction is that all of it is a lie. Everyone tries to just shut it down.
Not everyone, men,
Yeah.
not women.
Men at power, if
Men,
I have
men
to
in
say.
power.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that I think is a major crisis right now.
And that is something that relentless pressure, both from men and women, will dismantle.
Yeah.
And a certain level of fearlessness. Because finally, all people in power are hoping is that you will be scared to challenge the construct, right? The existing order. That's what they're hoping. And so they'll keep threatening you to, if you do this, your career, if you do this,
Yeah.
that's it. And to basically unshackle yourself from that fear is a big, big, big step to take. And contextually, different people don't do it for different reasons.
Absolutely.
Not just for money.
Yeah. To add something?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, the thing for me is like, it's like the change has to happen, come from within, and you need to constantly work, because you have been sort of, as a man, you get brainwashed so much into believing certain things, and the kind of things that you're exposed to, that subconsciously, even though you're aware, a lot more aware, and it takes a conscious effort for a person like me to constantly work on this thing. How can I better myself in this particular aspect, and how can I change things? And the first thing that is very much in my control is myself. That I know I can differentiate wrong from right, and I make sure that if anything is happening around me which I feel ye galat ho raha hai, I need to speak up.
Yeah.
And it's very important, even if it's something very, very small, even if it's a gaze. I need to take notice of it, and I need to protest, even if it's in my, head, or do something about it. So that is something that it has to come from within. I find that the only thing that otherwise it's very easy for people to go
True.
astray.
And nobody's asking anybody to become a crusader.
Yeah.
Just do it for yourself.
Absolutely.
Do it for yourself. You don't even have to do it for somebody next to you. At least internally, if you change your own attitude, that's enough. So, no, it's okay. Take the pressure off yourself. Be authentic. Nahi karna hai na. You don't want to donate money to an organization, start your own NGO like I don't. Just bring the change internally.
Yeah.
It takes you, that itself will take you a lifetime.